Hello everybody! Not too long ago I finished getting the Insane and the Membrane feat of strength, and I wanted to make a video guide going over the methods that I used, along with a few tips and tricks for anyone who wants to get the title themselves. Now in case you're not already aware, to get this title you have to get to Honoured Reputation with the Bloodsail Buccaneers, and to Exalted with Ravenholt, the Darkmoon Faire, and all 4 factions of the Steamweedle Cartel. This will probably take you about 10 hours or more of grinding, so be sure that you're willing to put in that time before you start working towards it. However, you can spread out the grind over as much time as you want, so it really isn't that bad. The reward for this is the Insane and the Membrane feat of strength, and the title of Your Name the Insane. And along the way you'll also get the Avasti Admiral feat of strength and the Bloodsail Admiral title as an added bonus if you don't already have those. Now the first reputation I'm going to go over is the Darkmoon Faire, and I'm going over this first because it's the only one you can't really grind out. The best way to get exalted with the Darkmoon Faire is to simply do the daily quests in there every day the event is up. Each quest will net you 250 reputation baseline per quest, but since you'll get the 10% bonus reputation buff right here at the fair, you should always have it up when you're doing your dailies. You can use this buff or the same buff from the consumable Darkmoon top hat to shorten the grind of all the other reputations whenever the fair is up, which also stacks with the 10% bonus rep if you're a human. For any numbers I'm using in this guide, I'm just going to give the base amount that you need, and if you have these rep boosts active, then adjust accordingly. To speed up how long Exalted with Darkmoon Faire takes, you can buy the Darkmoon Faire quest items from the auction house, or farm them yourself with the Darkmoon Adventurer's Guide and hand in those quests. And if you have 75 skill or above in any profession, you can also do the profession quests once per fair event. Do this each event for a few months and you should be exalted with the Darkmoon Faire, and maybe also have some nice rewards from your prize tickets. I will quickly mention that you can speed it up by having a scribe make you Darkmoon card decks from Mr. Pandaria or earlier and handing those in for 350 rep each, but in my opinion it's not worth the money or effort when you can just do the dailies in the fair for free, and even maybe make some money if you buy the replica armor pieces to sell on the auction house. Next up in the order that I did them is Ravenholt. The Ravenholt grind comes in 2 parts. The first part is grinding Syndicate mobs to Stromgarde Keep. I got this footage here after I'd already finished just to show the area. So first I want to go over a few things that applies to all of the mob grinding that we're going to be doing for this title, which you'll see in the later clips as well. First of all, always find a group if you can. Open up the group finder, go to custom groups and type in either Insane or the name of the reputation you're currently grinding. If there aren't any results, then start your own. Being in a group makes all of the mob grinds go so much faster, since if enough mobs in the area clear quickly enough, the game will force some of them to respawn. So not only is everyone in the group sharing the full rep for every mob, you're actually getting more mobs spawning than you would if you were doing it solo. The second thing to make these grinds faster is to always bring your battle standard of coordination. Where you want to place it depends on what area you're farming, because it will disappear if you move too far away from it. But if you're in a group, you can each take one section of the area and it's easy to never have to go too far from your standard. Thirdly, Bear Tartar will give you a near constant sprint effect, helping you get to mobs quicker. All you have to do here is run around and clear the mobs as fast as you can. I personally used a Mouseover Macro on my instant ranged ability to make things a bit easier, which I'll put in the description box below in case you want to copy it. Then all you have to do is mouse over the target and press your keybind, which will save you a lot of clicking. Your hands will thank you. You'll need about 4,200 mobs to get to 11,999 out of 12,000 honoured with Ravenholt, at which point you'll stop gaining rep here and have to move on to the second part. The second part of the grind is pickpocketing heavy junk boxes and handing them in at Ravenholt Manor. Since these junk boxes can't be posted on the auction house, you will either need a decently leveled rogue alt or know a rogue who's selling junk boxes. Not many people farm them to sell however, so your best bet is to get them yourself. First off, clear out your bags. The only thing you'll need is your Dalaran Hearthstone, and if you're doing all the reps on a rogue and you happen to have one, bring a scroll of teleport Ravenholt, which comes from your order hall. This will help you get to Ravenholt a lot faster to hand in your boxes. My favourite spot to farm the boxes, and the spot that I definitely recommend, is the Murlocs on the Isle of Cordanis. I found the best location was these 3 northernmost camps, but if these are taken you can find a spot further down south. There are a lot of camps around. 3 camps is enough for the first camp to respawn in time for you to go back and pick them again, and these northern 3 are just the most convenient for it. All you have to do is pickpocket every Murloc in the camp, use your AoE ability and move on to the next one. I use the same Mouseover Macro as in the last step, but with the ability switch to pickpocket. There are other macros you can use which are arguably better, but I like to keep it simple. Now sometimes you'll get some trash items and sometimes you'll get a junk box. Just keep pickpocketing them until your bags are full, and then get on a vendor mount if you've got one to sell the trash and pick some more. If you don't have a vendor mount or you get full on junk boxes, then that's one trip done. Now if you're getting the rep on a rogue and you do have the scroll of teleport Ravenholt, you can simply use the scroll, hand in your boxes to Winston Wolf here, Hearthstone back to Dalaran, teleport back to Shatrath, and repeat until exalted. However, if your rogue is just an ult, you'll have to mail your boxes to the character that wants the rep. Closest mailbox is back near where you teleported onto the Isle of Cordanis. Just go back here, mail off your junk boxes and pick some more. If you are mailing boxes, then being an engineer for the Mol E on the main character helps a lot with turning in the boxes. Or they recently added the Postmaster quest chain, which rewards a portable mailbox for non-engineers. But if you don't have access to either of those, all you have to do is fly over to the closest mailbox at Airy Peak to refill your inventory. Now I'll go over the two other main junk box areas that are usually mentioned for this, which are the Blackrock Stronghold and the Lower Blackrock Spire. I will not recommend Blackrock Stronghold. The first time I came here it was being farmed by bots for gold, then when I finally had it to myself the mobs wouldn't respawn very quickly and it was just generally a bit of a mess. I didn't try it for long enough to see how good it actually was, but I wouldn't recommend it. Lower Blackrock Spire however is pretty alright, just a little bit worse than the Murloc method, but unlike the Murloc method it's instant so other players can't get in your way, which probably makes us better if it's a peak time and the Murlocs on your server are being farmed. All you do here is pickpocket the mobs throughout the whole instance and drop down back to the start. I read on a Wowhead comment that you could sprint across the gap and shadow step to a mob here to get back to the start quicker, but yeah, try that if you want to, but it didn't work out for me. Anyway, you can just drop down here to get close to the start of the instance, and then once you're back at the start, their pockets should have had time to respawn, so happy picking. Now for the third reputation on the list, the Bloodsail Buccaneers. The first thing I'm going to say about this part is that you do not need to stay at Honoured to get the feat of strength and title. All you need to do is reach Honoured once, and then it's safe to lose the rep again. And also you do only need to get to Honoured for both the Avasti Admiral feat of strength and the Insane in the Membrane feat of strength. If you want it to count towards your Exalted Reputations achievement, you can go for Exalted and make sure to not lose the rep, but that's your choice and it will take a lot of extra time. Now the way you're going to do this is go to your Reputation tab, click Booty Bay, set it to at war, and go to town on any NPC in the area. They all give you rep, and scaring the poor weak quest NPCs will spawn more of the guards, which means more rep for you. Now remember the usual stuff here such as grouping up and using your rep boosts, but a unique thing to note is that on a PvP realm the guards will have significantly less health and damage. So if you can get a group on a PvP realm where you aren't being camped by the opposite faction, that'd be ideal. Now when you get to Honoured, which shouldn't take too long, you can head on over to Fleetmaster Farallon over here on the Crimson Vale, the big ship in the middle, and he'll be friendly to you and offer you some quests. Complete the Avasti Admiral quest, which simply has you go back to Booty Bay and kill the Fleetmaster Seahorn and Baron Revelgaz to get the Bloodsail Admiral title and a cosmetic pirate hat. Make sure if you're planning to take the quick route for Steamweedle and lose your Bloodsail rep that you get this first, otherwise Fleetmaster Farallon will become hostile again and you won't be able to do it. Now onto the home stretch, the Steamweedle Cartel. What method you use for this depends on whether or not you want to hold onto your Bloodsail rep, which isn't necessary unless you got to Exalted and you want it to add to your number of Exalted factions. If you don't mind losing the Bloodsail rep, then continue watching. If you do want to hold on to the rep, then skip this part and go straight to the next part, which I'll put the timestamp in the description or the comments or something, because YouTube removed annotations and I don't know if there's a better way to do this. So the Steamweedle Cartel consists of 4 factions: Booty Bay, Ratchet, Gadgetzan, and Everlook. The fastest way to raise them all to neutral by far is to do these reputation repair quests, which will have you hand in a stack of 40 cloth and 4 of a trade good. Each faction has its own quest. Ratchet wants linen cloth and crystal vials, Booty Bay wants silk cloth and red dye, Everlook wants rune cloth and coal, and Gadgetzan wants mage weave cloth and strong flux. Each hand-in will give you 500 reputation with that faction and minus 500 with the Bloodsail Buccaneers. However, you will also get 250 rep with all of the other Steamweedle Cartel factions, and you can only hand it in up to neutral, so the best way to go about this would depend on cloth prices on your server and what your current reps are at. But low level cloth is usually so cheap that it doesn't matter that much. The only rule I'll give is to definitely do Gadgetzan last, and you'll see why later. From 0 rep at Hated, you'll need 84 time-ins of the first cloth you hand in, 42 of the second, 21 of the third, and 11 of the fourth type. If you don't want to work out and you're lazy like me, just go and buy 3,360 linen, 1,680 silk, 840 rune cloth, and 440 mage weave from the auction house. Taking away 40 cloth for each 500 rep you have above 0 already. You can get all the trade goods from any trade good vendor, so buy as many as you need of those too, and then you're ready to go hand them in. If you bought too much cloth, don't worry about it. Cloth always sells quite easily in the auction house. The Ratchet NPC is here. Booty Bay NPC is here. The Everlook NPC is here. And the Gadget Zen NPC is here. Now once you've handed in your cloth and your trade goods, you should have all 4 Steamweed or Cartel reputations at neutral or above, with the first ones you did getting to friendly or honoured. Now if your Everlook rep is the lowest of the 4 at this point, ignoring Gadget Zen, there are some rep quests in Everlook you can do to boost it. But I'm not going to go too in depth on that, just these are the quests that give rep. You have to start a quest chain from Lilith the Lithe in Everlook Inn to unlock them. Check Wildhead if you want more info on that. So now you're finally ready to get onto the pirate grind. Congratulations for making it to the final grind of the guide. Unfortunately, if you're starting from hated, it's definitely the worst grind in the guide. And even if you're starting from neutral, it's probably still the worst. Grab your battle standard, find your group, grab your bear tartar, prepare your Mouseover ranged ability macro, and go through the Dalaran portal to the Caverns of Time. The best way to get these factions to Exalted is to grind the pirates here. No real trick or strategy to this, just run around clearing them as fast as you can. A group will make this much faster, as with 3 or more people in a group, you can each take an area and consistently force a constant stream of respawns. I was looting them as well for a little bonus gold, and they also have a chance to drop some fairly rare transmog gear to sell in the auction house. You'll get around 3 rep for Booty Bay, Ratchet and Everlook, and 6 rep for Gadget Zan per mob, so Gadget Zan is going to max out way before the others, but it'll stop 1 rep away from Exalted. Just keep grinding until the other 3 reps are Exalted. This took me around 3 or 4 hours, I think, in a pretty good group. It drags on a bit, but it isn't that bad once you find your rhythm. Once you have 3 factions at Exalted and Gadget Zen are Revered, fly on up to Frey Island near Ratchet, kill any 1 mob, and finish off the grind and enjoy your shiny new title and achievement. Thanks everyone for watching, I hope this guide was useful to you, and if I got anything wrong, just let me know in the comment. And if you're planning to get this done, I'd recommend doing it soon, because I have no idea how hard it's going to be when Battle for Azeroth comes out and the new scaling happens. Anyway, hope you enjoyed watching, and I'll see you in the next video.